Hey everybody, it's Thomas. It's time to talk about Blood Bowl League of Blood Bowl. What a week. We just squeaked this one in right at the last minute, but it was a pretty good week nonetheless. We're going to start, as always, with my team. We're talking about team management and all that fun stuff. So we've got a missed player with a niggling injury. As permanent injuries go, this one's probably the least impactful, so I'm kind of happy about that. A little sad to be losing a Bloodletter Daemon with 2 SPP, though. Niggling is not a big deal at all on this player too because of regeneration. I mean, it's still a problem, but regeneration helps take care of some of that. Still, free mighty blow to everybody that breaks this guy's armor is not exactly my most favorite thing in the world. What else we got? I got some SPP due to injuries thanks to this Pit Fighter cultist. Thanks, yada yada yada. You did good. And MVP went to Wigs, and Socks, which is a great thing. I want to get both these guys up to level 3 as quickly as possible, so MVP is going this way is awesome. I'm probably going to end up doing some weird passing crap to try to farm the 1 SPP if I don't get an injury or something like that. We'll see, though. I might just try to feed them touchdowns as well. But I do desperately want to get a Bloodletter Daemon up to level 2 as well. I don't know. I need as much SPP as I can get, so we'll see. I got a level up here on Stickers for Men, which is great. I gave him block. My team management this season is going to be a little boring because pretty much everybody's first skill is going to be block. It's, again, very boring and just classic stupid hitting team stuff. But with Frenzy, you kind of need it really bad, so we'll see. I might end up giving a Pit Fighter Cultist Wrestle. We'll see. I think giving them Wrestle kind of deflects from the usefulness of Frenzy. Other linemen, yeah, whatever, they're just linemen. But with Frenzy, you kind of want to be maximizing your hitting power. So we'll see. Having Wrestle might not be a bad idea, though, given how much block there's probably going to be in this league with Norse and Chaos Dwarf. So we'll see. It's something I'm thinking about. Juggernaut only gets me so far, so we'll see. But yeah, give this guy block, so he's going to start hitting a lot more, which is going to be great. Other things, I got an Apothecary, so a lot of my problems with injuries should be reduced in a big way. Beyond that, yeah, nothing significant, too bad. Got a fan factor, so that's good. And I'm just saving up money at this point for the Bloodthirster, which 50k left. I'm cruising right along, 130 more to go. Let's take a look at the game. If you haven't watched it, it'll be up here. First half was kind of a mess. I was a little too brazen and got punished for it, and so Jessup kept me from scoring the entirety of the first half, and yeah, that was not so good for me. But I was able to stop him from scoring at all, and I was able to take out a ton of his players. Some from fouls, some from him doing it himself. His Rat Ogre took himself out the, I think, first or second block of the second half, so that was good for me. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of damage was done. I almost tabled his team at one point, so that was exciting for me. It's kind of a lifelong dream, but yeah. So injuries and things like that. 3 casualties the same for me. 2 of them were dealt out by Jessup's team. 4 KOs dealt by me and 2 casualties, though, so feeling pretty good about how hard I hit that game, especially against a team with a lot more skills, a lot more strength. I'm really glad the Rat Ogre took himself out. SPP-wise, 2 touchdowns for me, 2 casualties, and an MVP is a great and healthy amount of 15. Jessup is a little bit sadder with that, only getting the pass, the MVP, and the 2 casualties, but it's still 10. It's just less than he probably should have gotten had he been able to get more scoring in. Some slight positioning, questionable choices there, I think, from Jessup, but whatever. I got, I want to say 2 fame. I got a lot of fame, but I think 2 fame is what I ended up with. Yeah, because I've, if I had 1 and rolled 6, normally I would have gotten 70, or no, would have gotten 6, maybe I just had 1 fame. Either way, I got some fame, so I got 90, which is why I have so much money left over despite buying the Apothecary. So if we can get more weeks like this, in fact, if we can get 2 more weeks like this, I'll have a Bloodthirster, which would be very, very good. Bloodthirster for week 4 would make me very, very happy. So yeah, really good game for me. I think part of it was Jessup got down a few players and didn't quite handle the Surf threat appropriately, because that's what this team is great at. And just I was able to get the advantage eventually. So great game for me, less great game for Jessup, but these things happen. Let's take a look at how Jessup wound up out of that. This is the part that's kind of annoying for him, is he got 2 permanent injuries. Both of them are -1 movement allowance things. On the lineman, that's kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. On the Rat Ogre, it's kind of a more significant problem. Going down to 5 is really annoying. That said, based on the way Justice has been playing in the past, I think he's probably just going to get stuck in a lot anyway. Bad thing, though, is he only rolled 20. And that's really almost worse than getting no SPP, because he really needs the Apothecary. With all this 7 and with how punchy this league is going to be, he's going to want as much Apothecary power as he can get until he can get more survivability skills on his Gutter Runners and more just defensive skills on his Storm Vermin and his linemen. His thrower also didn't end up with getting a whole lot, so that kind of sucks. SPP wise, trying to remember what we got. Yeah, I think it was just a casualty on Hogwash, a throw from Blarney here, another injury on Croc. MVP went to the Rat Ogre, though, so that's good. The Rat Ogre only needs one more injury to get into level 2 territory, which should be pretty easy. Expecting at the end of game 3 we'll have that. Just as low... no one has like super high armor in this league, which is exciting, but it does mean we're going to see more injuries and more long-term problems. So Apothecary, definitely a key thing for this team to get ASAP. Let's take a look at the other matches here. We had Chaos versus Undead. I expected this to go the other way, and it was a bit of a mess. I did a recap video of this. You can watch it up here. Grey Duck got 70k and did a ton of damage. She killed a player, got a casualty, and 2 KOs. So very punchy game, but for the most part, nobody really got that hurt. In fact, the Undead team actually put in more casualties than Grey Duck did, but of course, sustained to death, so that kind of sucks. Got tackled a couple times. The ghouls were just not dodging very well. Not a great week for Zach for first week. He only has 9 SPP. Grey Duck walking away with quite a bit, especially for a Chaos team with a total of 12, which is pretty good for Chaos. I mean, compared to Andrew's really unfortunate performance last season, where he couldn't get more than MVP for a few weeks, Grey Duck did just fine. So yeah, 70k is a pretty good result. MVP wound up on a Beastman, so this Beastman is going to be getting probably extra arms, I would imagine. Arguments could obviously be made for sure hands, but I think extra arms is the better choice for Beastman for ball handling purposes. Apothecary should also be in the works. And once she gets the Apothecary, then she can start saving up for the Minotaur, which should be a good deal for her. Other SPP good things. Chaos Warrior got a touchdown, which is awesome. And another Beastman got a touchdown as well. So slowly but surely, this team is starting to develop. Hopefully, Grey Duck doesn't go quite as unchallenged as she did early season in the last 2 seasons, because we really need this team to not be crushing us right now and when everybody has all their mutations of death and destruction. Okay, so that's the Chaos side of things. Let's take a look at Zach's unfortunate death. It was just on a zombie. So, as deaths go, it's not really that big of a deal. It's annoying, and it hurts to lose a player, but considering that if he kills anybody, he's going to get a replacement, it's not a big deal. MVP went to the skeleton, which is not that great. I mean, it's just a skeleton. But that said, the sooner the skeleton gets level 2, the sooner you have a dedicated Fowler, which will help this team a great deal as well. Only 10k is maybe the worst part. Rolling the worst possible result is not that helpful. That said, because it's undead, almost all the key pieces are here already. All Zach really needs is to start getting more SPP on key pieces here. The whites, the mummies, the ghouls. Mummies were behaving not very well at all. Some of this was, I think, just misplays and not properly managing the clock from Zach. Game itself, I think it was more dominated by Zach's inexperience more than any other factor. I think there are definitely some things that could have been exploited that he probably would have seen if he had more time with the game or more time just playing against other people. And that's part of just being new to this game, and I'm sure we'll see that turn around as the weeks advance. But still, losing a zombie, probably the most least essential piece you could lose. If he really wants to, he could buy a replacement, but I think he's better off just waiting to get the ghoul, because odds are very good, assuming he rolls better than he did this week, that he'll get a ghoul next week, at the end of next week anyway, because it's undead. You don't have to worry about buying a apothecary. It's just not an option for you. Yeah, so pretty good, not too bad week for Zach there. Not great either, but still, he got SPP on white. It's not too bad. It's fine. He just needs more, and that will come hopefully next week. Let's take a look at their games here. We have Norse versus Chaos Dwarfs. This did not go the way I expected, and Mark really cleaned up. You can watch the video up here. Well, let's look at the SPP numbers. Obviously, Mark got a lot of SPP. 4 casualties, 3 touchdowns, and an MVP is, well, it's quite a lot. It's 18. That's a pretty significant number. Andrew only getting the MVP as well, sustaining 6 casualties total, so 2 of those are from just falling over, being sad, all that fun stuff. Yeah, not a lot of good things happened. Basically, Andrew suffered some injuries early on, and then tilted very aggressively, which these things happen. We've all tilted pretty hard sometimes, but Andrew tilted extremely hard, and the second half was basically just a free-for-all for Mark. A little unfortunate, but what can you do? Mark walks away with 60k, which is a pretty happy number. He gets his apothecary there, and got a lot of levels up. This Norse Werewolf leveled up and got block, which Norse Werewolf definitely needs. Berserker leveled up, which means Mighty Blow. I'm assuming piling on will file this as soon as the Berserker gets to level 3, and this lineman got the MVP, it looks like, and who got the MVP? Yep, Chang here got the MVP, and got Dirty Player. This team is going to be so annoying to play against, with getting knocked over and getting stepped on all the time, which he kind of needs to do in all defense to Mark with 7 armor value almost across the board. These things happen. The Yeti did not do a lot of work, which I was a little surprised about. Just wasn't a big factor. Which I thought the Claw would be. The downside of all these level ups is Mark is staring at a lot of team value early on, which, you know, the trade-off is pretty good, but we'll see. Certainly it's a fair amount of money to whoever he plays next, which we'll talk about. Moving into the preview, but yeah, absolutely great week for Mark. Really balances out his unfortunate luck early on last season. Let's take a look at Andrew's team. Some permanent injuries here. Looks like these are just missed next games, though. Smash knee here, which is just niggling, and it's not a hobgoblin, so whatever. This is the annoying part. Missing this Chaos Dwarf blocker is going to hurt this team. It's definitely a key piece. Only walked away with 30k, but luckily, based on the way this team starts, he does have enough for Apothecary, so as long as he buys the Apothecary, he should be just fine. Apothecary would have probably kept this Chaos Dwarf blocker on the bench, so, you know, the sooner you get the Apothecary, the better. Just needs more SPP, obviously. Chaos Dwarf blockers are very good. Bull Centaurs are very good, but they definitely need skills to stick on in this league. Yeah, I don't know. Just a really bad game for Andrew. If he didn't tilt so hard, it probably would have been better, but there's only so much you can do sometimes. And we've all been in those games where you're done. Your mind is checked out and you're not playing well. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Last game of the week, I should say, comes to us from Vampires versus Elvens of the Darkness. Great game for Chris. Walked away with 90k thanks to the powerful fame roll. And a good amount of SPP as well. 2 casualties, 3 touchdowns, a pass, and MVP. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about there whatsoever. 19 SPP means he is our highest amount of SPP of the week. Unless I'm miscounting marks. I think Chris has more. Let me double check here. 19 for Chris. Nope, I'm crazy. So everybody, because this is 22 for Mark. So second most amount of SPP for the week. Just a really good game. I haven't watched this because it just happened late last night. Orville recorded, and I'll link to the video as soon as I got it. But yeah, looking at this, it looks like Orville just got way more beat up. Lots of KOs, lots of failed dodges, it looks like, resulting in KOs, which is a little unfortunate because Dark Elves have a fair amount of armor. But I don't know who failed the dodges. We'll look into that when we look at Orville's team. No permanent casualties, though, it looks like. Oh no, 2 casualties. I'm just crazy. So we'll see what kind of casualties we're looking at. Nothing inflicted on Chris, though, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, Chris just walked all over Orville's team, basically. So where did SPP go? Well, kind of all over the Thralls, which is kind of to be expected with the way Thralls work when they're the majority of the people. Did get a little up on the Vampire, though, which is huge. I'm guessing this Vampire is going to get block. Dodge could be picked up as well, but I think increasing the amount of block you have early on is good, especially because you need someone that can more reliably hit just to get the ball away and stuff like that. So yeah, good deal for Chris. Getting SPP on these guys is all good too. I mean, Thralls are a really important part of this team. In some ways, almost more important than the Vampires, because how leveled up your Thralls are means they can do more things when their friends get bit and punched away. So it's kind of an important factor. Has enough money for an apothecary, so I think you should pick up that. That'd leave him with 40. And at that point, you could just start saving up for vampire number 3. Apothecary is definitely huge, though. You want to keep these guys alive because there's only 2 of them. You need them on the pitch as much as possible. And when you start running out of thralls, you want to be able to save them as well. So, great week for Chris. Absolutely phenomenal. Let's see how the Dark Elves did. Okay. Smash Knee here on a Blitzer. Niggling, like we said, is kind of if you're going to have something that sticks around, the one you want. It doesn't hurt that bad. Throw on the Witch Elf, touchdown on the runner, one of the runners here, and MVP to a lineman, which is kind of whatever. Only 20k is a little unfortunate. Only 10k, I should say. Man, lots of sad rolls this week, paired with really high rolls. I don't know. Without watching the game, it's hard to see what could have gone differently. Missing the Blitzer is probably the worst part. And I don't know who else got injured, if I can see here. Okay, it was just a lineman, so that's not too bad. KOs went to the runner. Oh, wow, this Blitzer got beat up a lot. Wow, Orville's armor was just not very cooperative, I guess. Trying to figure out the number of tackles. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened here, because I haven't watched the game, but we'll see. I mean, Dark Elves take a long time to get scary, but it's still elves. They're going to be good for a while, so no problem there. Stat reps up this week. Not a good week for my predictions. I think I was wrong pretty much across the board. Yeah, because I said pretty much everyone on this side of the board should win, whereas everybody on this side won. So not so good. Next week we'll hopefully go a little bit better. Overall rankings you can kind of see here. Just first week, not a huge deal. But team values are starting to get kind of all over the place, which is a little scary there. So let's take a look at the week ahead here. We'll start things off with the first match, which is Norse versus Undead. I don't know how this one's going to go. The mummies are a very scary thing for Mark because Mighty Blow makes the already very fragile 7 armor pieces even more fragile. He's got a lot of block, which will help, but mummies will still knock you over on the POW, and the defender stumbles anyway. So not really a best case scenario here. The runner might do a lot of damage though. Dauntless is a good skill. We'll see what happens. It's still a 3+ roll to hit a mummy, so we'll see what happens there. And maybe the Yeti will do a lot of damage to the mummies. We will see. But yeah, 1120 for Mark means that he will be giving away 940, so 150, so that's wizard money, and a wizard is a pretty good thing against the Norse. We'll see what Zach decides to get. I guess arguments could be made for a bribe and a babe, or maybe another reroll on a babe, but I feel like the wizard is going to be the way to go. Norse is in a team that scores very quickly, so being able to just lightning bolt a ball carrier at a key moment is definitely a good idea, especially because with the ghouls you can get on top of the ball pretty quickly. I think the wizard's probably the way to go. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this matchup will go because Undead is a team that can definitely mess with Norse. Having 2 mummies is a big deal. It'll kind of come down to how well, and the other thing too is the zombies are really good at tying up frenzy pieces because they'll just follow the zombies around for forever, and the zombies are happy to take hits. So we'll see. I'm gonna give this one to Mark. The block on the werewolf is so huge, and with Mighty Blow he can do a lot of damage. Dirty Player will also hurt quite a bit if the mummies do go down. I think Zach's lack of experience combined with he's starting out from kind of a weaker position could be a problem. The other argument against Zach getting a wizard is knowing when to apply a wizard is something that everybody struggles with. Like, I am really terrible at knowing when to apply a wizard, and I've been playing this game for a while now. So that would be the argument for going for more rerolls. We'll see. Mark was pretty lucky last week. We'll see if that luck holds out, but I think it's a pretty safe bet here. We've got Chaos versus Vampires next week, and what do we got here? So assuming normal rolls for Chris, which one can never really assume, he'll be at 1030. compared to Chaos, which will be sitting at also 1030, so no money. Well, no, yeah, if they both buy out Apothecary, which they both should do, they'll both be at 1080. So nothing really significant there, no money given. I think Chaos should win this. The 4 strength everywhere can be really hard for the vampire team to deal with. If Chris had more than 2 vampires, I would say vampires should have a huge advantage here, because Hypnotic Gaze is a really good skill. 4 agility across a couple number of people is really good, but barring like something crazy like 5 agility on this vampire, and even then, block might still be more useful in the short term. I mean, he should get 5 agility if he comes across, but whatever. In terms of this next matchup, I don't know if 5 would do that much more for Chris than 4 would. We'll see. Greyduk has a history of getting very unlucky on kickoff results, whereas Chris is very, very lucky on kickoff results, and the getting extra fan factor going to 8 fan factor means he's almost certainly going to have at least 1, if not 2 fame. I don't know. I think on a raw, just fighting power area, Chaos should be doing better. The Chaos Warriors are really hard for this team to deal with at this point, and the 4 strength blitz from anywhere can be difficult to deal with for anybody. And that's one of the strengths the Chaos team, that's really the only strength the Chaos team has out of the box. So I'm going to give it to Chaos. Chris could obviously surprise me. It could be nothing but rocks and blitzes, but we'll see what happens. Then we have me versus Andrew. Let's see here. I will have 1050 and 1050. Is that right? I'm at 990. Add another 60. Yeah. Okay. 1050. Seems like it shouldn't add up that way. Was it 980 or 990? Whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself. Andrew is going to have. Let's see. Let's assume he buys the Apothecary. We'll be at 1K. So only a babe, which is pretty good for me, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Bull Centaurs are jerks and very hard to deal with. Chaos Dwarf blockers are very powerful and can mess up my dudes quite a bit. I think it's going to come down to how lucky I get on my Juggernaut pushes and stuff. I think this is a matchup I definitely can win. But I don't know. 4 Chaos Dwarf blockers has me a little more optimistic, but I don't really have a good answer for the Bull Centaurs at this point. And they can definitely get away from me pretty quickly. Assuming Andrew doesn't tilt, I think he should win. We'll see how aware Andrew is of the surf, but I don't know. Missing a Bloodletter Daemon does hurt this team quite a bit, because it limits the amount of Juggernaut blitzing I can do. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty confident I can get the ball away and I can score, but I'm not sure if I can realistically keep him from scoring all the time. The Bull Centaurs are just so much better than the pieces I have to work with. So let's say Andrew's going to get this one. Might be a tie game, though. Let's say tie. I feel confident about my ability to defend against Andrew. So tie here. Then we've got Skaven versus Dark Elves. Both these teams are pretty beat up, so that's probably good for everybody. What are we looking at here? Because the Rat Ogre is out, there's actually a fair amount of money going to be given away here. So 2 players out, so we'll be at 890, which is an almost criminally low amount of team value compared to, let's see here. Starts with 890, only 1 player out, can't buy anybody else. So actually, it's not that much money being given away, because Orville's only going to be at 960, so it's a babe, basically. That actually could be a big factor, considering that, given the 7 armor value Jeff's working with, it's very possible he's going to be facing some KOs. He actually will have a block advantage as well, because one of the blitzers is out. I think the speed of the gutter runners is going to be a huge factor here. Orville can definitely catch the gutter runners. I don't know if he can stop them. With only 1 block piece, it's a bit tricky. The Witch Elf definitely helps a lot, though. Frenzy helps hit gutter runners pretty good. We'll see. Also, Dump Off is an amazing skill. So we'll see. I think this is going to be just a purely offensive game, honestly. Both these players like to get mixed up and try to hit with teams that hit basically, and hit mix up and get hit with teams that don't like to hit. So we'll see. This is a weird matchup, and I think it's really going to come down to how much throwing each side can get. That's why I think offense is going to be such a huge factor here. I think both teams can defend okay, but I think for the most part, it's going to come down to who gets lucky with KOs and removal, and then who can score the most. And the gutter runners and the thrower give you a pretty good chance to score hard. So I'm going to give this one to Skaven. It'll be a pretty close game, I think, but I think Jessup should pull this out. So quick recap of my predictions. I think that Mark will win. I think that Gradick will win. I think that Andrew and I will tie. And I think that Jessup should win this game. A quick perusal to the Hall of Fame. Not that it's that exciting yet. A couple players at level 2, though. Actually, a fair number. 6 players have hit level 2 already, which is pretty impressive for only 1 week. Best scoring here, 2 touchdowns, which kind of be expected. Most people 1, 2 to something. 3 passes already, which is pretty cool. No interceptions because only 3 passes. Most violent player, Mark, has a lot of people on here already. Actually, we have a fair number of injuries, more than at least 10. No, I have 11 technically, but fair number of injuries already. I'm a little surprised by that, but all of our teams are pretty punchy, and all of our teams are relatively low in armor value. So yeah, surprising to see how many there. Running, everybody's kind of clumped up there. It's not too surprising there. Best throwing, no one's throwing very far here. Survivor will never mean anything. Best killing, we did have 1 murder, so that's exciting. Ocelot, Atlas, good job. Then yeah, receptions, relatively low given the number of throws, so that's how it goes. So, doing pretty good. Good week 1, and I'm excited to see how week 2 goes. I said this last season a lot, but all the teams this week have pretty exciting matchups or do things in a dynamic enough way where I'm pretty excited to see any of these games. The fact that we're all mobile-ish, hitting-ish teams means it's very exciting, so we'll see how this week goes. Hopefully the people that got really beat up last week can come back and do some damage or get the SPP they need to go forward. Maybe not Andrew, because I don't want Andrew to beat up my people, but, whatever. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.